Today, we're ranking every power-up in Mega Man, and power-ups are these things, by the way, but surely you knew that. Starting with the worst power-up in all of Mega Man, we have the L Tank. Now, this might seem like a pretty decent power-up, especially in comparison with a few of the other ones, but I have several reasons as to why I do not like this. First of all, there's a big ol' L on it. I'm not sure if you guys at home are familiar with modern-day lingo, but taking the L is not a good thing. And since Mega Man gets bodied by fake Proto Man and the real Proto Man has to show up and save you, he is literally handing you the L and treating you like the little bro that you are in this cutscene, which is annoying. Also, why didn't he just give us an E-Tank? Also, why do we never see any other L-Tanks in the entire series? This thing makes no sense. It would probably be a little bit better if we saw more appearances of the L-Tank, but at the same time, it would still be pretty bad because it seems like a slightly worse E-Tank. Next up, we have the small weapon energy pickup. These things can be useful every now and then, but 99% of the time, nobody wants any weapon pickup, let alone a small one. If you run out of weapon energy or you just want a refill, then you want to get a big weapon pickup, so getting one of these is still a disappointment even when you literally need one. On top of that, if you're just playing the game with one of your weapons out and you don't need one and you accidentally run into one of these, the game takes the liberty of pausing while your weapon fills up, which is boring. Gee, thanks game, I wouldn't have noticed I accidentally picked up 3 lines worth of weapon ammo if you didn't pause right there. I don't know what I'd do without that pause. Maybe that's just the inner speedrunner in me talking, but I highly doubt any of you guys in the comment section are going to be all that upset over small weapon energy being this low. But what's better than small weapon energy? Small weapon energy from Rockman and Forte, of course. Now I know what you're probably thinking. Hey bruh, isn't that just the same thing? No, it's not. First of all, this is from Rockman and Forte. Oh yeah, one of the best games ever made. But also, Rockman and Forte doesn't pause the game when you pick up energy. It's instant and you can keep playing without any interruption, so therefore it's just a little bit better. Plus, it looks cooler, but that's about it, so let's just move on. Now, this one might come as a shocker, but big weapon energy is next on this list. I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm not a fan of weapon energy pickups. This one is at least more useful when you really need to refill some weapon ammo, but like most of the time you don't need it and it's just annoying. I could be biased because I've played a lot of Buster only in my Mega Manning days, but I'm almost never happy to see these. If you disagree, then hear me out. Just imagine Eddie walking up to you and giving you weapon energy. Yeah, it could maybe possibly be useful if you really need some, but you usually don't, so yeah. And who would have thought that the thing better than big weapon energy is big weapon energy from Rockman and Forte, but I've already explained this, so let's just continue. Now is time for one of the most interesting and obscure power-ups in the Mega Man series, being the heart part from Mega Man 1. That's right, that weird ball that you pick up after defeating a Robot Master in Mega Man 1 is called a heart part. I honestly don't understand why it's called that or why Mega Man needs to pick these up, but it's kind of cool. They obviously got rid of these in the very next game, but I always felt like this was a thing that gave you the Robot Master's weapon, and maybe it is, I don't know. As far as being a power-up goes though, it's nothing crazy. I mean, it literally either does nothing or it gives you the Robot Master's weapon, which is automatic in the later games, so it might as well do nothing. But I still think this is a little bit better than weapon energy because while still completely useless, at least this thing is satisfying to pick up. Like, I enjoy picking up a heart part. Plus, it doesn't really freeze your game when you get it, at least not anymore than it normally would for defeating a Robot Master. I know this is a controversial take, but I've always just thought that this thing was cool, so it's better than weapon energy and I stand by that. But what's better than both the heart part and weapon energy? That's right, evil energy. This is the stuff in Mega Man 8 that you can pick up from a few Robot Masters, and this is basically the same thing as the heart part from Mega Man 1, but evil energy has more lore. Now, I don't know how to read, so I don't exactly know all the lore, but I do know Dr. Light says evil energy in Mega Man 8
seems to be energy resources, but I've never seen this type on Earth. I don't know where this energy came from, but you cannot let it fall into Dr. Wowie's hands.
And that's kind of funny, right? Did you hear how he said that? That was funny. Plus, playing Mega Man 8, I never really put it together that this was the evil energy that Dr. Light was talking about. I just thought it was another random thing that you had to pick up in a Mega Man game, so I always ignored it. But learning that this is literally the evil energy that the entirety of Mega Man 8 is based around was super cool to find out, and now not only do I appreciate this item and evil energy as a whole more, but I also appreciate Mega Man 8 more, and that's saying a lot. That's hard to do. Next up, we have an often forgotten about power-up being the gear recovery from Mega Man 11. You guys remember the double gear system, right? right? Well, I usually don't. In fact, the first time I ever played Mega Man 11, I forgot to use the double gear system until literally the final Wily capsule, and I only used it because he was using it first, and it reminded me that, oh yeah, there's a double gear system in this game. But as I'm sure you already know, these little power-ups helps you recover your double gear energy more quickly. This is very low for me because I don't really use the double gear system all that much, and when I do, it's usually during a boss fight or somewhere where I won't need any gear energy recovery power-ups or whatever for a while, but I can at least recognize the objectively good capabilities that this power-up has to offer. I do think it's cool that it's the newest power-up added to the Mega Man series, and I honestly like the idea of the double gear system. I just need to play more Mega Man 11 if I'm being honest with myself. It was a really fun game, but for some reason I don't feel like replaying it as much as the older games, but I don't know. Let me know what you think about Mega Man 11's replayability in the comment section. Oh, and also let me know what you think about the gear recovery power-up, because I'm not sure what the general consensus on this power-up is, so please don't get mad. But slightly better than that is the small health pickup. I mean, this is just nice. It's never really a bad thing to get unless you are mid-speed run and you're fine on health, but generally running into one of these isn't a bad thing at all. In fact, it's pretty good. We're officially crossing into the good power-up territory. Sure, it is a small health at the end of the day, so it feels like, what, 3 lines of health? But that might end up saving your life, so it is definitely useful. The only thing annoying about this power-up is that it does freeze your game for just a second while your health rises up, but I mean, if only there was a better version. The small health from Rockman and Forte is of course the next entry because it does everything a regular small health does, except it does not freeze your game. And it looks cooler. But you already knew both of those because this is like the 3rd time the Rockman and Forte variation has made it onto this list, but like, I can't just leave these off. They are technically different items or power-ups, right? Right, they're different. With that entry completed though, we have officially gone over half of the power-ups in Mega Man, which means we are officially entering the top 10. Now we have a surprising entry this high in the list, being the points from Mega Man 1, or more specifically the point balls. The balls that give you more points, let's just call them points. I know most of you are probably confused on how this is better than something like small health on account of the fact that small health gives you more health and point balls give you, well, points. But you know what? I like points. I think they're cool. Sure, they're ironically pointless, but I kind of like the point system. I'm not necessarily upset that it's gone in future Mega Man games, but I do enjoy using it in Mega Man 1. Though I do wish there was a high score system or something to make them at least a little bit more appealing. But I know this is an unpopular opinion, so let me know what you guys think about points in Mega Man. Would you be mad if they returned in Mega Man 12 with an online leaderboard? Assuming there's no hackers, of course. I mean, we've seen my world record videos that anytime there's a Mega Man leaderboard, people will hack it. But anyway, enough waffling, let's move on. Now we're getting into the really good power-ups because we have the W tank. First of all, this is much better than the L tank on account of being a W. If you don't know the lingo kids are saying nowadays, L is bad and W is good, right? I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, this thing fills up all of your weapon energy for every single weapon, which is super convenient, especially in the Wily levels where you don't get any free weapon energy when you beat a stage. Now, in the Game Boy games, I'm pretty sure this only refills one weapon at a time, but I'll make a separate video on the Game Boy games another day, do not worry. I know I've been saying that forever, but I genuinely want to do it. We'll see if we can do it soon. As far as the mainline classic series goes though, it does indeed fill up every weapon at once, and really the only downside with this is that it's pretty slow. So in a speed run, this isn't great, but in a casual playthrough, it's extremely satisfying, especially since it isolates the bass of whatever song is playing at the time, so everyone type WW tank in the chat. But better than a W tank is big health. I mean, this is just always nice to get, right? Again, unless you're speed running, in which case you can just jump over it. But as someone who's constantly damage boosting, I'm pretty much always happy to see a big energy. Maybe some of you would disagree that this is better than a literal W tank, but I mean, I like my health more than my weapon energy personally, so that's why this is so high. Of course, the Rockman and Forte big health is even better though, but you know why. But next up is the iconic 1-up. This is literally never bad to get. In fact, the only time it's not straight up good is if you already have max lives, which I mean, good luck with that if you're playing Mega Man 2. But even then, it's still satisfying with the sound effect that plays. You guys surely know what a 1-up is though, so I hope I don't have to explain it. Obviously, having more lives in Mega Man is good, especially the further you are into the game. Getting a game over isn't the biggest deal in the world, but if it's your first time playing a Mega Man game, those checkpoints are extra important, so you want as many lives as possible to keep your progress when you die. I guess the only time a 1-up is bad is if you are deliberately trying to get it a game over to get back to stage select or restart a level for some reason, but if you found yourself in that situation, I'd call that a skill issue and not a one-up issue. Surprisingly, the next entry is bolts or screws or whatever you want to call these power-ups that give you currency to use in the shop. I know it's probably surprising to see them this high, but I'm kind of using screws as a whole for this entry and not like one big screw or one little screw, which I guess makes no sense at all considering what I did with the big health and little health and the Rockman and Forte health. But anyway, screws are great because not only can you use them to buy pretty much any power-up you want, meaning you get to choose what you want when you want it instead of relying on RNG, but also in most Mega Man games, you can buy passive upgrades among other things. I mean, you guys saw the Rockman and Forte world record, right? I just reacted to it. Those power-ups in the shop are super useful. Like being able to walk on spikes, doing extra damage when you're at low health, or whatever that thing is that lets you shoot one more weapon shot when you're out of weapon health. You get the point. Bolts are very versatile and useful, so that's why they're so high on this list. Even though, again, I guess I should have done big bolts and little bolts, and then they would have been lower, but whatever. The bolt concept is pretty high on this list, and hopefully you understand. But even better than bolts, an E-Tank. Now, I know what you guys are saying. This list makes no sense now, because you can't just buy an E-Tank with bolts, right? Can't you do that? I mean, that was basically my whole point with the bolts being so high, right? And, well, yeah, you can, but isn't it nice when you just get one for free? Plus, E-Tanks are in more games than bolts are, so they're automatically a little bit better. We all know what an E-Tank does, though. You get to stock up on them, and you get a free full health refill whenever you want it, which is extremely useful. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a stage, fighting a difficult boss, or anything else, the E-Tank is easily one of the best and most useful power-ups of all time, so how is it only number 4? Well, one reason is because of the Fushigi, and I know that's not what it's actually called, but I do not care. This thing fills up your health just like an E-Tank, but it also fills up your weapon energy on top of that, which means you just get full everything. This is just an amazing power-up, and I'm so glad that it's been appearing more often in the newer Mega Man games like Mega Man 10 and 11. On top of refilling literally everything, it also does not freeze your game like the E-Tank would, so it's even nice in a speedrun because it has that Rockman and Forte fill-up style that we all know and love. There's literally only one downside to this thing, and that's the fact that you cannot store them up. You just have to see it on the ground and pick it up. I mean, man, if only there was... Yep, the M-Tank is just a Fushigi that you can store up and use whenever you want, except of course it does slow down your game because you have to watch everything get filled up, but that's the only downside, and that's really only a downside for speedrunners, and frankly, this item is so amazing, I'd say it's worth it. The M-Tank is literally the most overpowered power-up in all of Mega Man, which is why you're literally only allowed to have one at a time. I mean, in Mega Man 5, they won't even spawn in if you already have one. But of course, if you know the spawns, you can just use your M-Tank in the room before and then pick up another one, but still, that should go to show how powerful and amazing the M-Tank is. You can refill your health and all of your weapons whenever you want. If you were able to store multiple of these things at the same time, the game would just straight up be too easy. But with how amazing this power-up is, what could possibly be better? Well, it wouldn't be a Tooterp video without a controversial first place, but I think the best power-up from all of Mega Man is actually the discs from Rockman and Forte. But stop booing me, I'm right. You might think this is technically not a power-up, but it is. Not only does it unlock data that's fun to look at in the game, but it literally gives you intel on the very bosses in Rockman and Forte that you have to fight. This is like Nintendo Power or a literal internet guide without having to leave the game to figure anything out. I mean, sure, it doesn't tell you how to beat the game or anything, but the intel is useful and these discs are extremely fun to collect. Maybe I'm biased. In fact, I probably am biased. I do love Rockman and Forte and I do love collecting stuff like this. But I do truly think that unlocking all of the discs in this game and going through the gallery of data in Rockman and Forte is one of the most fun and satisfying things in any Mega Man game. I mean, I seriously love this database. I love all of the pictures of my favorite robot masters. I love these silly little quirks of information that they add in this game that we didn't know about before. I could go on, but if you want me to make a separate video dedicated to the disc database from Rockman and Forte, leave a comment down below because I will seriously do it. I am not joking. That was every power-up from Mega Man Ranked. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this was kind of a silly video to do, but I like these kind of videos, and I honestly wish more people made stupid, goofy, silly videos like this, so I guess I had to do it because no one else does. But anyway, I apologize for the jank setup and the echoey audio and the, everything about this video. I just moved, so it's going to be a while before I can get everything back to super high quality and everything, which is why the last video was a Rickroll, which, whatever, you guys understand. Hopefully soon things will look better, but thanks for sticking around and thanks for watching the video. Maybe the next video will be better quality. We'll see. Probably not. It'll probably take a while. I just moved This desk in the background is temporary. Trust me, I have to build a desk and then set everything back. You guys understand. I'm not going to waffle about this. Get out of here.